Hey, amazing fans! Welcome to another relaxing moment with VIVA'S stories. Before we dive into the drama, don't forget to subscribe, smash that like button, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your support means the world to us. Now, grab a seat, sit back, relax, and let's journey into the story together. Dawnspring was a city where days unfolded like poetry, slow and rhythmic, with golden light filtering through sycamore trees and a constant whisper of wind that seemed to know everyone's secrets. Nia preferred it that way. She was a librarian at the Rivermount Public Library, a grand, ivy-wrapped building nestled between a tea house and a stationery shop. Her world was quiet, predictable. Every morning, she arrived just before sunrise, breathing in the scent of books and brewing coffee as she unlocked the heavy oak doors. She wore soft sweaters, kept her hair in a neat bun, and found solace between shelves and spines. Most patrons knew her for her gentle smile and the way she always remembered their favorite authors. But no one really saw her. Nia had always lived in the shadows of other people's light. At school, she was the big girl who got nicknamed Mountaineer behind her back. At home, her parents were well-meaning but distant. Her mother obsessed with fad diets, her father often absent, burying himself in work and weather forecasts. At 28, Nia had made peace with invisibility. Or so she thought. It was at her cousin Layla's wedding that everything changed. "Have you met Malik?" Layla whispered, nudging Nia as they stood by the dessert table. Nia's plate was modest, a single lemon tart and a tea biscuit. Nia looked up and up. Malik was tall, with smooth skin, dressed in a navy suit that hugged his frame like a second skin. His eyes sparkled like mischief dipped in honey. He extended a hand. "You must be Nia. Layla's told me you're the family genius." She blinked. "Genius might be an exaggeration. I just read a lot." She grinned. "Reading is sexy." No one had ever called anything about her sexy before. Nia's cheeks warmed. She gave a small laugh, unsure of what to do with that sentence. They danced once. Then twice. He walked her to her car and asked for her number. By the time she closed the door that night, her heart thudded with a dangerous kind of hope. Over the following months, Malik was attentive and persistent. He sent her sunflowers and poems, texted every morning and called every night. Nia hesitated at first, waiting for the cruel twist, waiting for him to laugh and say it was all a joke. But he didn't. He told her she was beautiful. He said her curves reminded him of Renaissance paintings. He loved her quiet, her thoughtfulness, her laugh. And when he asked her to marry him in the poetry aisle of her own library, kneeling with a rose and a ring, Nia said yes, with tears in her eyes and a chest full of belief. But not all fairy tales stay golden. 3 months after the wedding, the silence in their home had changed. It was no longer companionable. It was cold. "You're wearing that?" Malik asked one evening, eyes skimming Nia's blue floral dress as they prepared for dinner with friends. Nia blinked. "Is something wrong with it? It just clings. Don't you think something looser would be more flattering?" The word flattering echoed in her ears like a distant thunderclap. She hadn't realized it was a warning. From that moment on, things unraveled slowly, like seams coming undone in a favorite sweater. He began to make comments at breakfast. "Do you need all that syrup? Or another slice of bread?" Always said with a laugh, but never reaching his eyes. He stopped touching her. Conversations turned transactional. Sex became rare, then non-existent. One evening, she tried to cuddle against him on the couch. He shifted away like her warmth burned. "It's hot," he muttered. That night, Nia cried in the bathroom, muffling her sobs into a towel. She didn't understand. Had she done something wrong? Had she changed? She tried harder. She learned his favorite meals. She started walking daily. She bought new lingerie she never got to wear. But nothing changed. In fact, it only got worse. They went out less. Malik avoided public outings where he'd have to introduce her. When he did, his tone was clipped. "This is my wife," he'd say, like he was reporting a crime scene. She wanted to talk about it. Wanted to ask, "Do you still love me? Did you ever?" But every time she tried, Malik would cut her off with, "Don't start," or You're overthinking again. Nia began to feel like a ghost in her own home. It was Zara who convinced her to go to the dinner party. You can't let him keep you hidden, Zara had insisted on the phone. Put on that green wrap dress, the one that makes you look like a forest goddess, and go. Nia had laughed nervously. You always exaggerate. Girl, please. If I had your hips, I'd charge rent. So she went. Malik's college friend, Jordan, had invited them to a rooftop soiree downtown. The place was stunning. Candlelight, jazz, velvet couches. Nia felt like a misplaced puzzle piece. The laughter flowed easily around them. Glasses clinked. Nia sat beside Malik, smiling politely, sipping her ginger ale while he regaled the table with travel stories. Then came the comment. Jordan said, Malik man, you're so quiet tonight. Marriage mellowed you out? Malik chuckled. It's like living with a plump statue. Beautiful, sure, but more garden ornament than dinner date. The laughter at the table died. Nia froze. Malik took a sip of wine, as if he hadn't just burned the air around her. Someone coughed. Someone else tried to change the subject. But Nia's ears roared. She stood up slowly, napkin trembling in her hand. Excuse me, she said, voice shaking. Nia. Malik began, reaching for her wrist. She stepped back. Don't. She left the rooftop, not even bothering with the elevator. She walked down 8 flights in heels that blistered her skin, her heart thudding like war drums. That night, Malik didn't come home. The next night, either. By the 3rd day, Nia stopped waiting. Zara arrived like a whirlwind, red braids flying, gold hoops swinging, and a leopard print tote slung across her shoulder. Where is he? She asked, stepping over the threshold. Nia, curled on the couch with a mug of untouched tea, shrugged. Gone. Zara sat beside her and pulled her into a hug. You should have called me sooner. I didn't want to be a burden. Zara pulled back, eyes fierce. Don't you ever say that again. The next day, Zara marched into Café Brickstone, where Malik was known to spend his afternoons. Nia waited in the car, pulse drumming. She didn't want drama. She just wanted answers she'd never receive. Inside the cafe, Zara found Malik scrolling his phone. She sat across from him without asking. He looked up, annoyed. Zara, to what do I owe the pleasure? You don't. I came for Nia. He scoffed. If she sent you to cry for her. She didn't, Zara said sharply. But I saw her. After what you did. She's shrinking. Malik leaned back, smug. Look, I didn't sign up to be married to someone who lets themselves go. I didn't expect her to turn into a fridge. Zara's nostrils flared. Wow. You disgust me. She wasn't like that when we met, Malik continued. It's not my fault she got comfortable. You're unbelievable, Zara spat. You don't deserve her love. Hell, you don't even deserve her silence. She stood, knocking over his coffee as she left. Back in the car, Nia looked at Zara's face, angry, red with fury, and something inside her cracked open. You were right, Nia whispered. He doesn't love me. No, Zara said, gripping her hand. But you will. One day soon. Days passed in a heavy fog. Malik returned after a week, acting as if nothing had happened. Dinner? He asked one evening, tossing his keys on the counter. Nia looked up from her journal. You didn't call. He shrugged. I needed space. She said nothing. There was nothing left to say. From that point on, their home became a war of silence. Malik stayed out late. When he was home, he was glued to his phone or TV. Nia stopped asking where he went. She already knew. One night, she found lingerie under the couch that didn't belong to her. Another night, she caught him texting someone saved in his phone as Cousin D. But the worst betrayal wasn't the affairs. It was the emptiness. Nia began waking up with panic attacks. Her appetite vanished. The mirror became a stranger. She avoided Zara's calls, unwilling to unload yet again. One night, after another dinner eaten alone, Nia walked into the bathroom, turned on the light, and stared at herself. Her face looked tired. Her shoulders slumped forward as if she was trying to disappear. This isn't living, she whispered. She said it again. Louder. This isn't living. And finally, she began to cry. Not the silent weeping she'd mastered over the years, but full, body-shaking sobs that left her gasping on the cold tiles. That was the moment she decided she couldn't keep dying every day just to preserve a marriage that had already crumbled. That was the flicker. The first spark of a woman reborn. The clinic smelled like citrus and eucalyptus, clean, calming, unlike the sterile, tense offices Nia remembered from her childhood. Zara had booked the appointment under the guise of just a checkup, but Nia knew what it really was, an intervention. And maybe she was finally ready. Dr. Ao walked in with a soft smile and kind eyes behind silver-framed glasses. "Nia, welcome," he said, not glancing at his chart first but at her face, reading something deeper than symptoms. She wasn't used to that. "I know you've been through a rough patch," he said gently. Zara gave me a little context. "But let's talk about how you're feeling, physically and emotionally." Nia hesitated, then said the words like peeling off a scab, "Tired all the time. No appetite. I cry a lot or not at all. I haven't had my period in 3 months." Dr. Ao nodded. "That gives us a starting point." Blood work, an ultrasound, and 2 days later, she returned. "You have PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome," he explained, showing her a diagram. "It's more common than you think, but it's rarely talked about. It affects hormones, weight, skin, mood. A lot of women suffer in silence." Nia swallowed. "I thought it was just me." "It's not. And it's not your fault." Tears welled up in her eyes. "We'll manage it together," Dr. Ao added. "I'm referring you to a wellness center, holistic, not cosmetic. No, drop 10 pounds fast, nonsense. They focus on movement, nutrition, and emotional healing." He slid a brochure across the desk. "Ask for Eli. He's not what you expect." She looked down at the cover. "Rise Wellness Center, where healing begins with you." For the first time in months, Nia felt something stir. The gym was nothing like Nia had feared. No blasting music. No rows of half-naked influencers. Just soft lighting, leafy plants, and an aroma of lavender and sweat. A few people were stretching in quiet corners, their faces peaceful, not competitive. Then came Eli. He was tall and lean with warm brown skin and tattoos of trees winding up his arms. His presence was grounded, like the earth itself. His smile was genuine but not performative. When he greeted her, he didn't mention weight, size, or goals. He simply said, "I'm glad you're here." They started slow, breathing exercises, gentle stretches, and something called intuitive movement. Eli explained that it wasn't about punishment or calories burned. "It's about coming home to your body," he said. "Most of us abandon it when we're hurt. You're not here to fix yourself. You're here to listen." Nia blinked. "What if I don't like what I hear?" "Then we sit with that," Eli replied, "until it doesn't scare you anymore." Over the weeks, Nia began to notice small shifts. Her balance improved. Her sleep deepened. She actually laughed, during a core class where she fell over twice trying to hold a plank. She started cooking again, not to please Malik, but to feed herself colors and flavors. Quinoa with roasted vegetables. Herbal teas. Avocado with lime and sea salt. Zara cheered her on, often dropping by with matcha and gossip. "You're glowing," she said once. "What is it, green juice or post-trauma goddess energy?" "Both," Nia said, grinning. For the first time, mirrors weren't cruel. They were curious. Nia began keeping a journal titled Reclaiming Me. Every morning she wrote 3 things she was grateful for. Every night, 1 truth she was learning. Her online community grew from a quiet blog post to a network of women with similar journeys. They called themselves the Still Waters, because beneath their calmness, they carried oceans. Meanwhile, Malik barely noticed. He came and went. Still distant. Still cold. Until the night Nia made roasted cauliflower and lemon thyme chicken, plating it beautifully. Malik walked in, sniffed, and said, "Trying to impress someone?" "No," Nia said, sitting at the table. "Just feeding myself." He stared at her. Something was different. Her posture. She wasn't slouched or apologetic. She didn't look broken. "You've changed," he said cautiously. "I'm healing." He laughed. "What, yoga and green leaves fixed you?" "No," she replied. "Losing you did." That night, she emailed her lawyer. 2 weeks later, Malik returned to find divorce papers on the kitchen counter. He chuckled. "You're joking." "I'm not." "You think you'll do better than me?" he said, voice rising. "I already am," she replied, voice calm. He threw a mug across the room. It shattered, but she didn't flinch. "I'll fight this," he snapped. "Then fight," she said. "But you already lost me." The day Malik officially moved out, Nia walked through the empty house and didn't cry. She lit sage, played music, and danced barefoot in the living room. Zara came over with wine and cake. "To rebirth," she toasted. "To no more crumbs," Nia replied. They opened the Bloom Lounge 3 months later, a hybrid space that offered wellness classes, reading circles, and trauma-informed therapy for women. The walls were lined with bookshelves and calming affirmations. Eli taught movement workshops there once a week. Dr. Ao hosted monthly health talks. Zara ran creative writing sessions. Women came in broken and left burning with new light. One afternoon, as Nia restocked a shelf of poetry books, the doorbell chimed. She turned and saw Malik. He looked thinner, gaunt. There were shadows under his eyes. "I heard about this place," he said, looking around. "Didn't expect this." Nia didn't answer. She waited. "I've been thinking a lot," he added. "About us. Maybe we just needed space." Nia smiled politely. "I'm not your story anymore, Malik." He opened his mouth but closed it again. He knew. As he left, Nia turned back to the shelf and whispered, "Thank you." Not to him, but to the pain. The silence. The old version of herself who had survived long enough to become someone new. Dawnspring's pier was aglow with the soft gold of sunset. Nia walked slowly, scarf trailing in the breeze, smile easy. She was stronger now, not just physically, but in all the invisible ways that mattered. A little girl ran past her, then turned around excitedly. "You're the lady from the videos." Nia laughed. "Maybe. My mom watches you every night," the girl said. "She says you taught her how to breathe." Nia knelt. "That makes me really happy." The girl beamed before running back to her family. Nia stood and walked to the edge of the pier, gazing at the water. Her reflection danced in the ripples. She didn't search for flaws. She didn't criticize her curves or trace her scars. She just looked, and saw a woman who had rewritten herself. Once silenced, now sovereign. The sky blushed pink and lavender behind her, and the tide whispered, "You made it." Thank you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell for newly created content.